And this morning, Isaac Hale, Occidental College professor of politics, he joins us this morning with reaction to this debate. Now, Isaac, plenty of anticipation ahead of last night's debate, our first chance to see the top three candidates go at it. So let's take a look at some noteworthy moments for each candidate. Let's start with incumbent Mayor Bass.
I have been fighting to hire more officers. Unfortunately, I have not had the cooperation from the city council, including, unfortunately, my colleague next to me, who has voted repeatedly against hiring officers, including when we were finally able to increase the class size and the council would not fund it.
So Mayor Bass, of course, hitting Councilmember Raman about police staffing. Your reaction?
Yeah, so I think this was one of the key contrasts that the mayor tried to draw with the council member on stage. And I think the council member is stuck in a really interesting place, both between progressives who want to see spending in the city on other services, but also polling that shows that spending on LAPD is popular. And this is a real shift for the mayor as well, who did not receive the endorsement of the LAPD police union in 2022, but has increased funding for the LAPD and has won their endorsement this time around.
Yeah, you know, this is fascinating because it's kind of a tightrope when you have Mayor Bass, Councilmember Raman. Yeah. Obviously, they're both, criticizing the state of the city, but they're also running the city. Yeah. So one of the two moments that we saw last night was with Raman. She presented herself as an agent of change. Go ahead, take a look.
We are not building housing at the level that we need to address our housing shortage. And when we don't build that housing responsibly, when we don't take responsibility for it, from the very top, including from this mayor who has pushed back against these state mandates, yes, they come in and impose these mandates on us. Here's what I would do instead. Let's actually plan for the housing that we need. Let's build out the neighborhoods that we want to build. Let's make them beautiful. Let's actually solve for the kind of density and affordability that the state is asking us to do. We can do it if we plan for it. And as mayor, that's exactly what I would do. I would ensure that I would use the executive authority in the mayoralty to make sure that every department was planning for density in ways that Angelenos welcomed so that Sacramento didn't have to intervene.
All right, Isaac, so your thought on Councilmember Raman's approach to this to kind of separate herself from Mayor Bass. Do you think she did a good job at that?
I do, and I don't think she always did a great job in the debate in separating herself in this way, but I think this and a few other moments were some real high points for the council member where she, I think, clearly made the case that she's an agent of change, that the status quo isn't working for Angelenos. And this was, I think, something that Mayor Bass also struggled with during the evening, was presenting herself as a change agent when she is the incumbent and has been in office for 4 years.
Isaac, let's now talk about Spencer Pratt. He is, of course, the outsider with no political experience, something he really tried at times to use to his advantage. Let's take a listen.
Councilwoman Raman acts like she doesn't have any authority with this homelessness. She was the third most powerful person in city council. She runs the homeless housing thing. She acts like this is just Mayor Bass. First off, inside safe, I like to say inside safe makes all of us outside unsafe. The reality is no matter how many beds you give these people, they are on super meth. They are on fentanyl. The DEA statistic says 93% of this is a drug addiction problem. Nithya, Councilwoman Raman's plan for treatment first, I will go below the Harbor Freeway tomorrow with her, and we can find some of these people she's gonna offer treatment for. She's gonna get stabbed in the neck. These people do not want a bed. They want fentanyl or super meth. These ideas cost us over $400 million to house for 70, what did you say, 3,000 people for $400 million? This is an absolute failure for both of them. They're a team.
So Isaac, your takeaway from Pratt's performance?
So I think some people came into the debate thinking that he was not going to be a strong performer. He is a political amateur after all, but that wasn't what we saw. I think, he has experience on reality television. He clearly knows his way around a camera, and he was strong on his feet. And I think, there were moments throughout the night where he said things that were challenged by the other candidates or were factually dubious. But I think this was a case where he was really trying to make the point that he is an outsider, that both Raman and Bass are currently in government, and that he would represent a change. But Pratt has a really big uphill battle if he should make it to November, which is far from a sure thing. Los Angeles is a deeply blue city, and President Trump is deeply unpopular. It will be a really uphill battle for a Republican to be the next mayor of Los Angeles.
But also, when you think about this, Spencer Pratt is very good at his marketing.
Sure.
So you never know what could happen. I mean, do you think when voters get to the booth, are they focusing more on optimism or accountability? Because those are kind of two different things that could sway a vote.
I mean, when you look at how voters feel about the state of things in Los Angeles right now, I don't think optimism is how I would describe it, right? Mayor Bass has approval ratings of under 30%. That is not where you want to be as the incumbent mayor. And so I think voters will be looking for a change agent. And that's why I think you saw Mayor Bass even casting herself as a change agent in this race. And I think the question going in is which two candidates will be able to make that appeal most strongly.
All right, well,
good.
time is running out. We'll see how this all unfolds.
All right,
Isaac Hale, thank you so much.